The morning sun cast a warm glow over the neighborhood, illuminating Briarwood High School, a sprawling campus that, despite its pristine facade, buzzed with an unspoken tension. 17-year-old Nia Johnson stood at the bus stop, her worn sketchbook clutched like a shield. Her brown eyes, framed by long lashes, held a mix of determination and apprehension. Nia had learned to keep her head down, her aspirations carefully tucked away. Life in the group home had taught her resilience, but high school felt like an entirely different kind of battle. The bus arrived with a soft hiss, and Nia stepped aboard, barely registering the whispers and sidelong glances from other students. She found an empty seat near the back, opened her sketchbook and let her pencil glide across the page. Drawing was her sanctuary, her way of silencing the world around her. At Briarwood High, the social lines were as stark as designer sneakers against thrift store shoes. The popular crowd commanded the cafeteria, their boisterous laughter and chatter overpowering the quieter students. At the epicenter of this hierarchy was Brianna Carter, a queen of the social scene. Wealthy, stylish, and perpetually surrounded by loyal followers who mirrored her every move, Brianna wasn't just popular, she was calculating. She possessed an uncanny knack for pinpointing vulnerabilities and transforming them into cruel entertainment. Today her target was Nia. As Nia entered the cafeteria, Brianna's gaze instantly fixated on her. Leaning in toward her group, Brianna's voice dripped with sarcasm. "Oh, look who it is, the tortured artist herself. Hey Nia, did you sketch your way here or did the group home give you a ride?" Laughter erupted from the surrounding table. Nia paused, her face calm before continuing to her usual spot in the far corner. She had mastered the art of feigning indifference, though her heart pounded within her. Nia pulled out her lunch, a simple grilled cheese sandwich wrapped in wax paper. She took small bites, her focus shifting from her food to the drawing in her book, a girl standing confidently on a cliff's edge. Across the room, Caleb Brooks, Nia's closest friend, watched her with a conflicted expression. Kayla admired Nia's quiet strength, though she'd never voice it aloud. As Brianna cracked another joke at Nia's expense, Kayla forced a laugh, a knot tightening in her stomach. "Kayla," Brianna nudged her, "don't zone out. I was saying we need to do something fun. This place is so boring. Maybe we should liven it up a bit." Her eyes flicked toward Nia. Kayla hesitated. "What do you mean?" Brianna smirked. "Oh, nothing, just thinking out loud." The school day crawled by and Nia moved from class to class like a phantom, largely unnoticed. In art class, she lingered to perfect her drawing, earning a rare compliment from Mr. Bennett. "You've got talent, Nia," he observed, holding up her sketch. "Ever consider entering a competition?" Nia shrugged. "I don't think I'd win." "You'll never know if you don't try," he responded, returning her work. By the time Nia left the classroom, the hallways were empty. She adjusted her backpack and began the long walk back to the group home. The late afternoon air was crisp and the distant sound of laughter served as a reminder of all she lacked. A family, a true sense of belonging. As she turned onto her street, Nia spotted Zane, a younger kid from the home, sprinting toward her. "Nia, you're late again," he called, grinning. She ruffled his hair as he caught up. "Art class ran over. Hungry?" Zane nodded. Together they walked into the house, greeted by the scent of dinner. It wasn't much, but for now it was home. Meanwhile, at Brianna's house, the atmosphere was anything but humble. The Carter estate sprawled, its luxurious interior adorned with the latest gadgets and high-end furniture. Brianna sat cross-legged on her bed, scrolling through her phone as Kayla paced the room. "Brianna, what are you planning?" Kayla asked nervously. Brianna didn't look up. "Relax. It's just a joke. Besides, she needs to be taken down a notch. She thinks she's so special, sitting there drawing all the time like she's better than us." Kayla frowned. "She doesn't think that. She just keeps to herself." "Exactly," Brianna retorted with a sharp edge. "And that's the problem. It's like she's too good for everyone else." "Don't worry, Kayla, you'll see. It'll be hilarious." Kayla remained silent, her unease growing as the week progressed. Nia continued to navigate the school's hostile environment, oblivious to the subtle glances or the whispers of Brianna's unfolding scheme. She remained absorbed in her art, focused on completing a portfolio for a local competition. But beneath the surface, a storm was brewing. Brianna and her friends were meticulously laying the groundwork for a prank they believed would put Nia in her place. Kayla found herself drawn deeper into the plan, her protests stifled by Brianna's sharp tongue and veiled threats. Nia remained unaware of the impending danger, her mind consumed by visions of a brighter future. A future where her talent would resonate louder than the whispers of those who sought to tear her down. The days passed uneventfully, or so it seemed to Nia. She remained immersed in her world of sketches, the hum of high school chaos fading to white noise around her. But beneath the surface, tensions escalated. Brianna and her group were not content to leave Nia alone. During lunch one day, Brianna leaned over her tray, her voice low but sharp. "Okay, so here's the plan," she confided to her group, her eyes flicking toward Kayla, who nervously picked at her salad. "Why do we have to keep messing with her?" Kayla asked, barely meeting Brianna's gaze. "Because it's fun," Brianna replied, her tone laced with mockery. "What, are you going soft on me? Don't forget, I know about your little study helper on that math test last semester." Kayla froze, her face flushing with guilt. "I wasn't." "Relax, Kayla," Brianna interrupted. "I'm just saying let's stick together, okay? It's just a harmless joke." Kayla nodded reluctantly, but unease churned in her stomach. The following day, Brianna and her group put their plan into motion. They waited until art class, where Nia typically sat in the far corner, quietly working on her drawings. Brianna entered the room with an exaggerated smile, holding a sandwich wrapped in shiny foil. "Hey Nia," she called out loud enough for the whole class to hear. Nia glanced up, her pencil pausing mid-stroke. "Yeah. I felt kind of bad about the other day," Brianna said, her voice dripping with insincerity. She held out the sandwich. "So, I brought you lunch. Peace offering." The room fell silent. A few students exchanged skeptical looks, but Nia, caught off guard, hesitated. Thanks," she said cautiously, taking the sandwich. Kayla watched from the other side of the room, her chest tightening. She knew what was in the sandwich. Brianna had coated it with peanut butter, knowing full well that Nia was severely allergic. As Nia unwrapped the sandwich, Kayla's heart raced. She opened her mouth to speak, but froze, Brianna's earlier warning echoing in her mind. Nia took a small bite, her face softening in surprise. But within seconds she froze. Her throat tightened, her breathing grew labored, and panic flashed in her eyes. "I can't breathe," Nia gasped, clutching her throat. Chaos erupted. The teacher, Mr. Bennett, rushed to her side. "Call 911, he shouted to the nearest student. Brianna feigned shock. "Oh my God, what's happening?" she exclaimed, though her wide eyes and stiff posture betrayed her guilt. Kayla stood frozen, her heart pounding as she watched Nia struggle. She wanted to speak, to step forward, but fear held her back. Within minutes, paramedics arrived and rushed Nia to the hospital. The classroom fell into a tense silence as the severity of what had just happened sank in. The school buzzed with rumors the next day. Everyone had a theory about what had happened, but no one knew for sure. "Did you hear Nia almost died?" one student whispered in the hallway. "Yeah, they said it was an allergic reaction," another replied. "But how did it happen?" Brianna walked through the halls with an air of indifference, but her mind was racing. She knew the truth would ruin her if it got out. Kayla, meanwhile, was a wreck. She avoided Brianna as much as possible, her guilt gnawing at her. In math class, she could barely focus, replaying the scene in her mind over and over. At the hospital, Nia lay in a bed, her sketchbook resting on the side table. Her throat was still sore, but she was stable. Ms. Green, the school counselor, entered the room with a soft knock. "Nia, can I come in?" Nia nodded weakly. Ms. Green pulled up a chair. "I heard about what happened. I'm so sorry you went through that." Nia hesitated before speaking. "It wasn't an accident, was it?" Ms. Green's face hardened. "We don't know for sure yet, but I promise you we're going to find out. And if someone is responsible, they'll be held accountable." Nia's eyes welled with tears. "Why do they hate me so much?" Ms. Green reached out and took Nia's hand. "It's not about you, Nia. It's about them. People like that, they tear others down because they're scared of what they don't understand. But you're stronger than they'll ever be." That evening, Kayla sat in her bedroom staring at her phone. She had typed out a text to Ms. Green 3 times, but couldn't bring herself to hit send. Her hands trembled as she thought about what Brianna would do if she found out. The text read, "I know what happened to Nia. It wasn't an accident. Kayla let out a shaky breath and pressed send. Moments later her phone buzzed. It was a response from Ms. Green. "Thank you for reaching out, Kayla. Can we meet tomorrow? I promise you did the right thing." Kayla closed her eyes, a tear slipping down her cheek. She didn't know what the fallout would be, but she couldn't stay silent any longer. Back at school, Brianna was growing paranoid. She noticed Kayla acting distant and started to suspect something was wrong. "You've been weird lately," Brianna said, cornering Kayla by the lockers. "What's going on?" "Nothing," Kayla said quickly, avoiding eye contact. Brianna narrowed her eyes. "You better not be thinking about talking to anyone. Remember, I know things about you that you don't want getting out." Kayla swallowed hard, but she didn't respond. Brianna's words felt like chains tightening around her, but she knew she couldn't back down now. As the school waited for answers, the tension grew. Ms. Green worked behind the scenes, gathering information and piecing together the events leading up to the incident. She knew the truth was close, but so was a confrontation that could change everything. The tension at Briarwood High reached a boiling point. Nia had returned to school after her recovery, but the whispers and stares followed her everywhere. Her once quiet presence now carried a weight no one could ignore. Meanwhile, in the counselor's office, Miss Green sat across from Kayla, her tone gentle but firm. "Thank you for coming forward," Miss Green said, sliding a notepad across the desk. "Can you walk me through what happened?" Kayla hesitated, wringing her hands. "It was Brianna," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "She brought the sandwich. She knew Nia was allergic. I didn't stop her." Miss Green nodded, her expression calm but resolute. "You made a mistake, Kayla, but you're doing the right thing now. This will help Nia, and it's going to hold Brianna accountable." Tears welled up in Kayla's eyes. "She's going to hate me for this." "She might," Ms. Green said honestly, "but standing up for what's right takes courage. You're stronger than you think." Later that day, Ms. Green called Brianna into her office. The girl strutted in with her usual confidence, but the light twitch in her smile betrayed her nerves. "Ms. Green, what's this about?" Brianna asked, her tone dripping with feigned innocence. Ms. Green leaned forward, her hands clasped on the desk. "Brianna, I've been looking into the incident with Nia. I know about the sandwich and I know you were behind it." Brianna's smile faltered. "I don't know what you're talking about. That was just a misunderstanding. I didn't know she was allergic." "Kayla told me everything," Ms. Green said firmly. The color drained from Brianna's face. She's lying. She's just trying to pin it on me." Ms. Green didn't budge. "Brianna, this is serious. Nia could have died. The school administration and I will be taking this to the principal. I suggest you think very carefully about what you want to say next." Brianna stood abruptly, her bravado crumbling. "You can't prove anything," she snapped before storming out of the office. The following morning, the principal called a school-wide assembly. Students shuffled into the auditorium, their murmurs filling the air with anticipation. At the front of the room, the principal stood beside Ms. Green, who held a folder of evidence. Brianna sat in the front row, her face pale as whispers circulated around her. "Good morning, everyone," the principal began. "We are here to address a serious incident that occurred recently involving one of our students. After a thorough investigation, we have determined that the act was intentional and endangered the life of another student." Gasps rippled through the audience. "We want to be clear. This school does not tolerate bullying or endangering others in any form. Effective immediately, the student responsible will face suspension and further disciplinary action." All eyes turned to Brianna. Her usual air of confidence was gone, replaced by a panicked look as the principal continued. "This incident serves as a reminder that our actions have consequences. Let this be a turning point for all of us to create a safer, more supportive environment." After the assembly, Ms. Green encouraged Nia to address the school. Though hesitant at first, Nia realized this was her chance to reclaim her voice. Standing at the microphone, she took a deep breath. The auditorium fell silent as she began. "Most of you probably never noticed me before," Nia said, her voice steady but soft. "And that was fine with me. I've spent most of my life trying not to be noticed." He paused, looking out at the crowd. "But what happened to me wasn't just a prank or a joke. It was cruel and it could have cost me my life." A few students shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "I'm not here to ask for pity," Nia continued. I'm here to ask for change. Because no one deserves to feel like they don't belong. No one deserves to be treated like they're less than human. Applause broke out, tentative at first, then growing louder. Nia stepped back from the microphone, her heart racing, but for the first time she felt empowered. Later that day, Kayla approached Nia by her locker. She hesitated, clutching her books tightly. Nia, she began, her voice shaky. I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I should have stopped Brianna. I should have said something sooner. Nia looked at her, her expression unreadable for a moment, then she nodded. Thank you. It's not going to be easy to forget, but I forgive you. Relief washed over Kayla's face. I'll make it right, she promised. I'll do better. Meanwhile, Brianna found herself alone for the first time. Her friends had distanced themselves, unwilling to be associated with her actions. She sat in the cafeteria, her tray untouched, watching as Nia laughed with a group of students. For the first time, Brianna felt the weight of her choices. She wasn't ready to apologize, but a flicker of regret crossed her face as she realized the power she'd abused had left her empty. The weeks following the incident at Briarwood High marked the beginning of a transformation, not only for Nia but for the entire school. The anti-bullying initiative, spearheaded by Ms. Green and Mr. Bennett, gained traction as students began engaging in open discussions about respect, empathy, and accountability. Posters with messages like "Stand together," "Speak up," and "Kindness is strength" lined the hallways, replacing the toxic whispers with conversations of change. For Nia, life slowly began to improve. With Brianna suspended, the cafeteria felt less hostile, and students who had once ignored her began to acknowledge her with smiles and kind words. It wasn't an overnight shift, but it was a start. One afternoon, Nia was sitting under a large oak tree in the schoolyard, sketchbook in hand, when Kayla approached hesitantly. Hey Nia, Kayla said, her voice soft. Nia looked up, shading her eyes from the sun. Hi Kayla. Kayla sat down, leaving a respectful distance between them. I wanted to thank you for forgiving me. I know I don't deserve it, but I'm trying to be better. I've been volunteering with Ms. Green to help with the anti-bullying program. Nia nodded, her expression thoughtful. That's good. It's not easy to change, but it's worth it. Kayla smiled, a flicker of relief crossing her face. You're really brave, you know that? Nia shrugged, a faint smile tugging at her lips. I just got tired of being scared. At home, Brianna sat alone in her room, scrolling through social media. Her once brimming inbox was now eerily silent, and the comments under her photos had turned critical. Maybe she deserves it, one comment read. She could have killed someone, another said. Brianna slammed her phone down, frustration bubbling over. For the first time, she was forced to sit with the consequences of her actions. Her suspension had isolated her, stripping away the popularity and power she had taken for granted. Late at night, she found herself replaying Nia's speech in her head. No one deserves to feel like they don't belong. The words echoed, planting a seed of doubt in Brianna's mind. She wasn't ready to admit she was wrong, but regret gnawed at her. A few weeks later, Miss Green called Nia into her office. Nia, I have something to show you, Miss Green said, holding up an official-looking envelope. Nia tilted her head. What's that? Miss Green smiled and handed her the envelope. It's from the statewide art competition. Open it. With trembling hands, Nia tore open the envelope and scanned the letter. Her eyes widened. I won. You didn't just win, Miss Green said, beaming. Your mural was selected as the centerpiece for the competition's gallery, and you've been awarded a scholarship to attend the Summer Arts Academy. Nia's jaw dropped. I don't even know what to say. You don't have to say anything, Miss Green said. You earned this. Your art speaks louder than any words ever could. The following week, the school held a small ceremony to unveil Nia's mural in the main hallway. Students, teachers, and even parents gathered to celebrate the new addition. The mural depicted a group of diverse students standing together, their faces filled with hope and determination. Above them, bold letters spelled out unity through understanding. As Nia stood beside the mural, students approached her with words of encouragement. This is amazing, one student said. Thank you for standing up, another added. For the first time, Nia felt seen, not as the quiet girl in the corner, but as someone who had made a difference. From a distance, Brianna watched the ceremony unfold. Her parents had insisted she attend as part of her punishment, but she kept to herself, unsure of how to face the people she had wronged. After the crowd thinned, she hesitantly approached Nia, who was packing up her supplies. "Nia," Brianna began, her voice unsteady. Nia turned, surprised to see her. "Brianna. I wanted to say," Brianna trailed off, struggling with the words. Finally, she let out a sigh. "I'm sorry for everything." Nia studied her for a moment, then nodded. "I appreciate that." Brianna hesitated. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'll try to do better." "That's a start," Nia said simply, then turned back to her supplies. As the school year progressed, Nia's confidence grew. Her scholarship to the Summer Arts Academy opened doors she had never imagined. With Ms. Green's continued support, she began preparing for a future filled with possibilities. One day, as she walked through the halls, she spotted a group of younger students gathered around the mural, pointing and talking excitedly. She smiled, knowing her work had already begun to inspire others. Nia glanced back once more before stepping outside, the sunlight warming her face. For the first time in a long time, the weight she had carried felt lighter. Months later, Nia arrived at the Summer Arts Academy, her sketchbook tucked under her arm. She looked around at the bustling campus, her heart pounding with nervous excitement. In her first class, the instructor asked everyone to introduce themselves and share why they were there. When it was Nia's turn, she stood up and said, "I'm Nia Johnson. I'm here because I believe art can change the way we see the world and maybe even change the world itself." The room erupted in applause and Nia sat down, her smile widening. She was no longer just the quiet girl in the corner. She was an artist, a survivor, and a force to be reckoned with. Join us to share meaningful stories by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to start your day with profound lessons and heartfelt empathy.